Smart Fortwo 451. We are going to be doing a transmission fluid flush. This is part of the 30K service. This vehicle has 30,560 miles on it today. Yes, we are doing quite a bit of services on it. The only tools you will need is an 8mm focus, my little friend. You're gonna need an 8mm hex. Anyways, we got the two new bolts from Mercedes, and we also got this Castrol manual bot 328. This is the exact stuff you need. I bought this at Mercedes, part number Alpha 001 989 510310. This is exactly what you want to use. Yes, this transmission may be automatic, but it's an automated manual, which means the internals of the transmission are actually a manual gearbox. Here's how it's going to work. You're going to find the fill plug and the drain plug. On the passenger side of the vehicle, this is the drain plug. On the driver's side of the vehicle, there is the fill plug right there. So this might sound counterintuitive, but you always remove the fill plug first. The reason for that is this. If you remove the drain plug and you drain all of your fluid, and then you put the plug back on, you're like, okay, now I'm going to fill it, and then you remove the fill plug, and you can't. You strip the threads and you can't fill it. Guess what? Now your transmission has no fluid and you can't go anywhere. That's why you always break this one loose first. Make sure you can pull this out, and then you pull the drain plug, and only then do you break it and remove the fluid. So what you want to do is simple. I'm going to put my 8mm in there, and we will not break like that, but basically we're going to remove the fill plug itself first and then the drain plug. But make sure that you have the tool seated all the way into the nut completely before you try and attempt to remove it, because this metal, I didn't see a crush washer, and Mercedes told me that they didn't know of any crush washer involved, so this bolts on directly. No crush washer involved, so I'm assuming this aluminum itself, the bolt itself, deforms and becomes the crush washer. That's why it's so tight. So now that we got the drain out, now we can pull, we got the fill plug out first. Now I'm gonna go and get the drain plug out, and we're gonna drain the sucker and get going. There, the drain plug, because I put it in all the way, unlike what I did last time, like a buffoon, this time I got it in there all the way, so it came out quite easy. Basically, want to do the same thing as the engine oil. Remove this all the way. Let everything drain. That's not that clean. 30,000 miles on this vehicle. That's probably the original transmission fluid. So it's a perfect timing for me to do the 30K service. This doesn't look like it's got any junk on it. I don't think these are magnetic at all, but there's the fluid. Not much. Vehicle is currently jacked up, so I'm going to lower it to allow all of it to drain before I close this up. So these bolts get torqued to 43 Newton meters, which in the Americas equivalent is 31.7 foot-pounds, which you can see I've done here exactly. So at this point, the pan should be receiving minimal oil because the transmission should have been done dripping out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna plug it. Quite simply, no thread lock, no nothing. It didn't call for anything along those lines. So just finger tight, dry all this off, and come back in here with our torque wrench of 31.7 foot-pound or pound-feet. Don't kill me, I don't know how you say it, and I personally don't care. 31.7, shouldn't be that difficult. That's it. Drain plug is done. At this point, we can go ahead and fill our bot 328 fluid. And the way we're going to do that is with something like this. It allows you to just screw it on and just pump, and it's going to suck the fluid out of the bottle, out the tube, and into the fill side. So that's all we're going to do here. Now that we have our little contraption here, it's kind of difficult to show you, but basically we're going to shove this tube into the fill side right here, right over there. And we're going to pump this, and That's exactly how much fluid you're going to need right there on screen. So I've already done the 2 bottles, and the third one, I've done half the bottle, and as you can see, it's slowly pouring out. The capacity of this is right at around 2.5 quarts. So there, I pumped it a little more and it's pouring out. So when the vehicle is level, keep that in mind. So I dropped the vehicle all the way back down. It's completely level. You can technically fill it until it starts to pour out of the fill hole up here, like this. That's when you know it's full. So at this point, I'm going to stop. I have that much extra. I'm going to pull out a little fill hose, let it drain into the pan. Let that finish draining out, and it should be perfectly level. So when this stops draining, that's when I'm perfectly at 100% proper fill level. And then I'm going to put in the final, the secondary, brand new fill port. Well, I put the drain port. Now I'm going to reinstall the fill port at 31.7 pound-feet, which is 43 Newton meters, I believe. It's whatever the torque setting I had at earlier, and then that should be it. And the transmission is completely done. It's been a little bit here, and the transmission is pretty much down to just a drip. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and take our brand new fill port, and we're going to plug it up. So now that the transmission is completely full, 31.7 pound-feet is what you want. We lifted it just a little bit, so it'll give me more room to move my torque wrench. It's 31.7. It's completely done. At this point, you want to clean all this up. But this is what the transmission fluid looks like after 30,000 miles. So I know that Mercedes says it is a lifetime fluid, but look at that yourself and tell me, wouldn't you rather just change it? It's not that expensive. And as you can see with this video, it's quite easy to do. So that's it with the transmission fluid. We're going to have just a little bit left. And we're going to keep this because it doesn't go bad when it's not going through heat cycles. I plan on changing the engine oil every 3,000 and the transmission fluid every 10,000, simply because I can. It's easy and it's peace of mind. But that's it. I hope you learned something today, and have a nice day.